Today we will discuss the history behind vampires and how these bloodthirsty beings have evolved into today's popular culture. The start of vampires goes all the way to medieval Europe in the time of the 17th and 18th centuries, where they were initially seen as an infectious disease. Vampires have a lot of cultural variations to where each one has a different representation of what a vampire truly is. Vampires are primarily from Slavic cultures and have heavy influence on modern culture. A common example of this would be Dracula. Vampires are more commonly known for their mythical characteristics. Many people know them for piercing their fangs into their victims and sucking their victims' blood. They also carry the myths of shape-shifting abilities, no reflections while looking into the mirror, and they are nocturnal. Along with these myths comes great legends. Vlad Dracula, also known as Vlad the Impaler, was born in 1431 in Transylvania, Romania. His legend is greatly known due to him killing his victims by impaling them with a wooden stake. Another vampiric legend would be Strigoi, where they originated in Romania. They have the ability to shapeshift, control and communicate with animals, and hold the power to cause sickness to humans through touch. It is said you become Strigoi through dying with unfinished business or unresolved anger. Now, when encountering a vampire, you must know ways to defend yourself. For starters, vampires hate garlic due to its deteriorating odor. Vampires are also warded off by any kind of religious symbols or holy crucifix. Another defensive mechanism against vampires would be to impale their heart with a wooden stake. Lastly, vampires are known to be nocturnal, and that is due to the killing exposure sunlight has on them. Through modern popular culture, there are plenty of movies, books, television shows, and subcultures that resonate with audiences and fandoms for vampires. The Impact offers a mix of horror and romance that continues to fascinate audiences worldwide. These modern interpretations have transitioned from fearsome creatures to more complex, romanticized beings. Hotel Transylvania targets a younger generation, with the two main characters being vampires named Dracula and his daughter Mavis. Dracula runs a monster-only hotel hidden from the human world where he raises his daughter Mavis. To protect her, he keeps her sheltered from humans whom he believes are dangerous. For Mavis's 118th birthday, Dracula invites all his monster friends to a big celebration. But things go unplanned when a human named Jonathan accidentally finds his way into the hotel and ends up befriending Mavis. Chaos follows as Dracula tries to hide Jonathan's identity, but Mavis and Jonathan start to fall for each other. In the end, Dracula learns to accept humans and lets Mavis follow her heart. For older generations, the romanticized depiction of vampires is greatly seen in the film Twilight. Bella Swan moves to the rainy town of Forks, Washington, and finds herself interested in the mysterious Edward Cullen. She soon discovers he's a vampire, but he and his family choose to feed on animal blood instead of humans. Despite the danger, Bella and Edward fall in love. Their relationship is tested when another group of vampires arrives, including James, who is a tracker that becomes obsessed with hunting Bella. Edward and his family work together to protect her, ultimately defeating James. The story ends with Bella still wanting to become a vampire to be with Edward forever. Another romanticized depiction of vampires would be The Vampire Diaries. Elena Gilbert, a high school student in Mystic Falls, becomes entangled in a supernatural world where she falls in love with Stefan Salvatore, a 162-year-old vampire. Things get more complicated with the arrival of his dangerous and unpredictable brother, Damon Salvatore. A love triangle develops, and as the series progresses, Elena discovers her own mysterious past and connections to supernatural beings, including witches, werewolves, and doppelgangers. The town is full of secrets, ancient curses, and powerful enemies. Over the 8 seasons, the characters face love, loss, betrayal, and redemption as they fight to protect their home and each other. Then, we have 4 different film versions of Nosferatu, all developed years apart from each other. The most recent Nosferatu film was just released this past year, starring Lily Rose Depp. Robert Eggers' 2024 remake of the 1922 silent classic Nosferatu is a gothic horror film that reimagines the tale in haunting ways. The story follows Thomas Hutter, a real estate agent who travels to Transylvania to assist Count Orlok in purchasing a property in Wisburg, Germany. Unknowingly to Hutter, Orlok is a vampire who seeks to reconnect with Hutter's wife, Ellen. As Orlok's obsession with Ellen intensifies, a series of chilling events unfold, leading a confrontation that unravels love, sacrifice, and the supernatural. Lastly, we have a fairly new film that was just released this past month called Sinners. Sinners is a Southern Gothic horror film directed by Ryan Coogler. Set in 1932 Mississippi, it follows twin brothers Smoke and Stack, played by Michael B. Jordan, who return to their hometown after years of crime in Chicago. Using stolen money, they buy a swan mill to open a juke joint for the local black community, but their plans are disrupted by supernatural forces, including a vampire named Remnick. The film explores themes of race, music, and survival, blending horror with historical drama. These films have changed the initial interpretation of vampires and turned them into an exploration of relationships often plotted from human interaction. Vampire popular culture is filled with devoted fandoms celebrating their favorite vampiric characters and franchises in mainstream entertainment. Their evolution highlights how storytelling reflects the values and depictions of different societies or cultural backgrounds. Overall, vampires have captivated human imagination for centuries, evolving from terrifying folkloric monsters to complex, often romanticized figures in modern media. Whether seen as a symbol of fear, immortality, or desire, they continue to reflect the values and concerns of each depiction. As long as humanity remains fascinated by the unknown, the legend of vampires will live on.